I have a question. So I'm doing a lot more healings, and I'm feeling kind of tired. How did you make the transition to and it could be Mercury retrograde, I think, too, a little bit, but how did you make the build up to more and more energy healing clients?
So the main thing that comes to mind about feeling tired when you're doing a lot of energy healing is, do you have any need for a certain outcome? Because if you want the person to like you, or if you want the session to go well, or if you want to make a certain amount of money from the session, any sort of attachment to a certain outcome is going to drain your energy because your body is going to work towards getting that outcome. So if you let go of any of the judgments or any of the ideas about what you want to get out of a session, if you let go of wanting the person to like you, if you do it just to show up, be present, and be a vessel for the healing or for the energy, or to be the facilitator, just to be available to do whatever is required, then you're going to leave feeling more energized instead of less. I remember when I started teaching, I would study my stuff, before I taught the class. And I would think, I want to go through this, and this in this order. Or when I did a private one-on-one session, I would, hope that they would want to book another one, or I would, want them to be happy with it and give me good feedback. And I remember feeling tired after them and feeling like, okay, I need at least 15 or 20 minutes or maybe even a half an hour in between. I'm going to need to eat in between to give myself more energy. But when I let go of all of that and I just was like, I don't care. You know what? I'm going to be available to do whatever's required. And if they like me, cool. If they don't like me, cool. If the session goes well, awesome. If it doesn't go well, it doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be my fault. I don't have to make myself wrong for it. I started feeling energized afterwards, and I could always go to the gym afterward, and I had plenty of energy for that. And I would, go out to dinner afterward, which was a completely different thing. I used to have to come home and rest. And after, the same thing is if you're taking a lot of classes, or any classes, if you're taking any holistic classes, you can do the same thing. Any desires that you have to get out of the class, if you want something specific, if you want to meet a certain goal with the class, then often it's taking away from your energy because you're working so hard to get that one thing, you're not completely open to receiving all the other possibilities that might unfold from that. So I noticed that not only when I was teaching classes, but when I was taking classes, I didn't have to have that 3 days of recuperation afterward. I felt perfectly fine, and I could jump right back into my normal life, that night or the next morning without feeling like I needed to recuperate. Does that answer kind of?
Yeah, but what if that's how it is in the beginning of the week, but then as it goes on, it's like...
Are you doing regular sessions? Is that part of it, or is this just your general life?
I'm doing regular sessions. I'm doing probably 10 hours of energy work a week, but I was doing, not that.
Okay. And do you have an investment in the outcome right now?
I think when I first started doing it, but not so much anymore.
Okay, so you don't think that that's useless, really?
Not really.
Okay, so I've noticed that I've started functioning from a space that I never knew was possible more recently. And I've been thinking about how I got here, because I do still get tired sometimes, but I never fry out and burn out anymore. I used to burn out constantly, super, super easily. By the end of the week, I would be like, I can't think, I can't function, Do you experience that, the burnout at all? Not that much?
I'm trying to be really conscious of whoa, because I noticed towards the end of it was after a week and a half of doing regular healings, my intuition, I couldn't, it wasn't how it was,
So I know that you're already meditating, and you're already doing energy on yourself every day too. I did that, and honestly, I've been doing energy healing since 2003 or 2 or something like that, so a little over 10 years. And I'm just now at this place. It took me a lot longer to get to this place, and I think that like part of it was necessity. I was like, these are the things I need to accomplish in my life, and I need to figure out how to function at a different level so that I can actually, you know, create income, get things done, you know, keep my house in order, be a mom, be a wife. Like, there were like so many things I had to do. I was like, okay, how can I function at a completely different level? So I was sort of demanding of the universe that it provide me with the strength and the energy so that I could continue to move forward at a different reality than I knew was possible. I was asking the universe and demanding of the universe that it show me how to function at a space that was different than the reality I currently was aware of. So I was asking to function outside of the reality I was aware of.
Could it be possible that I'll just like grow into?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
that's kind of what I felt like.
gradually.
It's just that
or quickly if you want.
I'm done with the growing.
okay. Gradually is fine then.
Yeah, I think that I just need to like be really conscious of how many sessions I'm taking a week.
Yeah. And does it feel heavy to you how many sessions you're taking a week, or do you feel like you can handle it if something shifted?
Honestly, I think that I just need to like detox from the caffeine and eat better.
Yeah. And maybe it's something as simple as that. Also, you can use me as an example. For instance, you can look at how I'm functioning, and I'm sleeping less than I ever have before. I am working more than maybe ever. I'm raising a child. I have employees for the first time in my life. I have 3 now, and I've never had that before. So my life is like way different, way busier. I have so much I'm juggling, and I'm doing it without burning out. And so you might not want what I have, but you can look at the way that I'm functioning in a way that I'm continually receiving energy from the universe and flowing and not burning out, and you can say, how can I get that?
Yeah, I think delegating, that's like the big
Delegating
thing.
is huge.
The big thing that keeps coming up is just delegate. Stay in the, because I also think it's like going back from the right brain, channeling, like healing, then to the admin stuff. That's like I think it actually, now that I'm talking about it, it might be the admin stuff that's draining me all of the session, notes and
so ask yourself, you know, what things can I delegate to someone else that can make my life easier, you know, and just see and ask, where is that person and how easily can they find me, so I don't even have to go out and look for them.
Yeah, I was asking them this morning, just send it to me. No.
Yeah, just send it to me.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that work. Make it come to me. Cool.
Thank you, that was so helpful.
Oh, good. I think I gave you a bigger answer than you were looking for.
That's what
but
I needed, though.
Sometimes it can be simple. Often it's more universal. Cool.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to ask any questions?
I kind of have a question.
Sure.
Because like when it comes to places like this with like people here, I feel really light, but when I'm in my own space or my own environment, I just keep getting heavier, and I guess I'm kind of struggling with like how bringing that lightness into my life, or is it just because of power and numbers kind of thing, like numbers being with other people and stuff.
So when you're in other large groups, like out in another social setting, you don't necessarily feel lighter then, right?
Yeah, no. In my own home.
Yeah, right. So this is the thing. So it's all about being around people who have expansive energy versus people who have energy that's contracted. The difference is people who are open-minded, who are willing to receive more, who are working on their energy, who are not in judgment, they have more expanded energy. And so when you are around other people who have expanded energy, because you have expanded energy, you feel lighter. You feel more comfortable and confident to be yourself. when you're on a subway, when you're in traffic, you're around so many people who are in judgment, who are contracting their energy, trying to protect themselves, or trying to, resist things, trying to defend. That's all contractive energy. So whenever you're around that, since you're so sensitive, empathic people automatically want to contract their energy. So you want to actually do the opposite so that you don't contract. Whenever you're around people who have contractive energy, you want to expand out like 100 miles in every direction, as much as you possibly can. And what happens is when you get that big, the people around you who seem like a big deal are tiny. And you're going to be so expansive and so big by expanding yourself that much that they're not going to affect you. They're not going to make a change on your being. So you want to be really aware of that before you encounter people who are really contractive, like maybe family members are a really great one. Whenever you go to a family party and you leave feeling like shit, it's not always because they dumped on you. It's often because they're so contractive. You leave and you've contracted to be more like them, to be able to function with them. But you don't actually need to contract around people who are contracted just to have a conversation with them. You can stay open and wide, and they might not have anything to grasp onto and judge. So when you're super expansive around people who are judgmental, they often can't be judgmental with you and dump on you. So it's actually easier to be around them, and they'll mess with you less or not at all if you're really, really expansive in your energy. Yeah, it's always really helpful around family. Or anyone. Even friends who are, contractive, sometimes that happens too. If you're really expansive, it really helps. Even going to the grocery store, you might feel a little icky sometimes, and it might just be because, there are grumpy people around you who are, in defense mode, into protecting, and they have really contractive energy, and if you were to expand out, they wouldn't bother you anymore.
Can you talk more? I've been trying to explain it to Justin more, and I've seen it manifest in my life. Mm-hmm. Working with the universe and pulling energy.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen it work in many ways where I've been, you know this, clients who didn't want to pay me, and then I worked with the universe, and I had a check in the mail the next day, or different things like that. Can you explain more about pulling energy?
You want me to just talk in general about it?
Yeah, maybe give an example, because I'm trying to explain it to Justin, but I'm not trying to make you like... But I guess our thing was like, is it...
I'm not trying to point you out, I'm just pointing you out.
When you work with the universe, is like there's synchronicity in life? So there's that, like, I don't know. It's been this interesting conversation we've been having back and forth about working with the universe and energy.
Okay.
Does that, like, break pretty well, or does that,
So there's a couple different kinds of energy pulls. You can pull energy, you can push energy, or you could maybe just do nothing. There are people who have like no energy movement going. A perfect example of someone who pushes energy is a car salesman. Let's say you're standing in front of a car salesman and they're trying to sell you something, they're pushing it at you. And so another example would be of a person who's pulling energy would be extreme charisma, someone who's performing and singing on stage. They're pulling your energy. You can't take your eyes off of them. You're completely enthralled by, the performance they're giving. So they're excellent at pulling energy. It's an excellent way to do this on stage. Being on stage and pulling energy is a great way to expand your charisma. Also, if people are just like flat energy, there's nothing going on, you sort of just like don't know what to do with them, whether to push energy, pull energy, they're not really giving you anything, they're a little bit more monotone. It's more rare. I don't know many people like that, but there are the people who just don't have any energy movement. So Anya was asking me just to talk a little bit about this. One of the examples I gave her was if someone owes you money or you want more money, you can ask the universe to provide you with the money that you desire, and you can literally just imagine the money coming to you and you suck it with all of your might. For me, when I have classes coming up, I imagine the classroom setting and then like a funnel over the classroom. I suck energy from the universe. I imagine all the people who would benefit from the class, who would be interested in the class, and the people that I can be a contribution to those people. I suck the energy of those people into the classroom. So it helps bring a lot more people into the classroom, because then they start like thinking about me, and they're like, okay, I wonder where I can find a class like that. And then they find the class because I've been pulling the energy in the class. And I can find a very distinct difference between when I get too busy to suck energy into my upcoming classes, I don't get as many people. When I really put energy into sucking the energy into the class, I get tons of people. Another cool example is when I'm teaching a class, in order to really understand what everyone in the class requires, I will pull energy from the universe through them to me, and then I trickle it back at them. And what that does is that's not taking away from anyone, and it's not taking away from me or giving my energy. It's literally moving energy in a way that I can receive all of the things that they're thinking and needing and requiring. And you guys know, because you've all been in classes with me, I just like say stuff, and it's like, oh my God, that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I wanted you to say, you know? And even now, I might even be like saying something about your, answering your question, but that's what you wanted me to talk about or something. So when I'm constantly pulling the energy through people to me and trickling it back, then I'm able to receive all of the needs from everyone in class and give it to you guys. And I'm basically, that trickling it back is me verbally giving to you guys what you're requiring. And so energetically, I'm getting what I require, what you guys require of me, without you physically having to say it. Because sometimes you don't even know exactly what you want, and then when I say it, you're like, oh, that's exactly what I was hoping to get out of the class. Another example of an energy pull is, let's see, yes.
Do you do this like as a meditation, or how long?
I just do it like while walking, while thinking, while working. But that's another level of being also. Like, I used to have to like sit, focus, and do it. Now I do 5 things at once almost always. I mean, because I have so many things going on, I sort of have to function on or not different levels really, but multiple things happening at the same time. So I'll be pulling energy for different things all at once while I'm doing other things. So, let's say, what's an example of something that's going on in someone's life where you want to change it? And I'll talk about how to energy pull or push it. Oh, I got it. I have one. Okay. So, did someone give this to me? Okay. So, let's say that there's someone who is frustrating you in your life or annoying you, and they won't stop giving you their opinions about what you should do. Did I mind tap anyone?
No.
I really believed you. Okay, so let's say someone is continually pushing energy at you. What I would do is I would pull the heck out of their energy, and they'll fall on their face, and they'll stop pushing at you. Okay?
How do you do that?
How do you do that? Yeah. So I've noticed that the best way for me to do it is it's not always verbally saying something. I'll actually, instead of resist the energy that they're pushing at me, I open the floodgates and I let it either go right through me or right around me instead of resisting it. When I'm resisting it, they're going to have more of a wall to push against, so they're going to push harder and harder. So let's say Courtney is like, I think you should do this in your class, and I really think you should do this too, and I wish you would change your hair and lose more weight and and tell me all this stuff. And if I just suddenly started sucking that energy, and I was just like, oh, really? What an interesting point of view. Okay, cool. What else do you think? Not necessarily opening it up for more, commentary, just suddenly, instead of resisting, opening it up, and they sometimes just fall like, oh, like, that's not what I would do, but, I like say that, not me saying to the energy, but I would just sort of say, a little bit of something, but without any judgment. Once you judge it, you're giving them more to resist against. So I would open those floodgates, and then I would literally, almost like you can imagine, you're sucking it from them. Just start sucking the energy, and they don't know what to do because they've been pushing so hard, they will fall flat. It's something you sort of need to play with to see how it works, because it seems like they might just keep throwing it at you, but it's the opposite. They're actually looking for resistance. People who are pushing like that, the people who are energy pushing, they want to resist against something, and when you don't give them anything to resist against, instead of pushing against them, if you start pulling from them and pulling and allowing them to just do it, they'll move on to someone else, and they'll have a different relationship with you. You always want to ask yourself, is this person pulling, pushing, or doing nothing? And so if they're pulling energy, you want to push at them. You want to give them energy. So let's say someone is asking you to give them healing sessions constantly for free, and you can't get rid of them, and you're tired and you don't want to do it anymore, and they're not taking your subtle hints and they're not taking your obvious hints, but they just want more and more, and they're calling you, asking you for advice, but never asking you how you are. So what you would do is you would start pushing energy at them, and it knocks them over, kind of. And I don't mean they're going to fall or hurt themselves. This is not hurting anyone ever. This is literally just manipulating, changing energy in a way where you are empowering yourself with the ability to change anything that is in front of you. So let's say someone, and sorry, right? I'm looking at you. You don't do that at all. But let's say that she's, pulling for me. Instead of me trying so hard not to be pulled, I just start, imagine a fire hose of water, and you hose them off with water, but it's the energy, and just blast them with energy. Blast them, blast them, blast them, blast them, blast them, blast them, until they stop. They will stop, because it's giving them what they want. So, and a little bit of a gentler note, I do that with my son.
You told me the other night.
Yeah. Sometimes he wants, because, for whatever reason it might be. Sometimes I'll ask him, okay, so do you actually require anything of me right now? Do you require me to physically be with you? Do you want me to hold you? Or maybe you don't need physical touch. Do you need energy? Do you need food? Whatever it might be, I'll sort of ask, energetically. I don't even usually verbally ask any of this. I'm just like, okay, what is it that you require of me? Is it something physical? Is it something like to eat? Or is it something else? Is it energy? And often I'll get, it's just energy. So this is actually something I've been doing late night when he falls asleep and he keeps waking up. I will blast him with energy like a fire hose, and it's not to hurt them, because remember, it's energy, and they're only going to receive as much as they are willing to receive. You could blast someone with energy and they could resist it and not take any of it, and that's okay. That's their choice. But you can give them the opportunity to receive as much as they want, and it's not coming from you, it's from a perfect source in the universe. So you're blasting them with energy, and I'll do this with my son, and he'll turn over and fall back asleep. So you can do this in the daytime too. Yeah. Yes, on you please. It's always helpful. But I do this at nighttime. I don't do it as much during the day because I'm not, on the weekdays as often watching him. But,
So it's not your energy that you're blasting them with, it's the source energy.
It's perfect source energy. I'm blasting them like a fire hose with energy and just filling them up until they can't take anymore, and then I move on. And it's huge results. Yeah, and it's not Reiki or Shambhala or anything specific. It's like perfect source energy. It's energy, just pure energy, what they can receive. It's interesting, right? Working with the energy ball.
Did you like this video? If so, I would be so grateful if you shared this video with all of your friends. You can stay in touch with me by liking me on Facebook and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Would you like to get social with me? You can leave comments on my YouTube videos, Facebook posts, or blog entries and get involved in the conversation. If you would like even more tools and tips that I only get to talk about in email, then I invite you to head over to omorphihealing.com and sign up for email updates. Keep pursuing your dreams and seeking the life you desire. The world is a better place because of that something special only you have. I'll see you next time on Ashley Stamatinos TV.